jump in.
Yes.
We'll get it started. So I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
The people want to know, what has been your favorite interview so far?
My favorite interview? I don't think that's a fair question. Just because everybody I interview, I love. Like, I've learned something different from everybody. So I think every interview is great, and they're all great in their own respect. Yeah, I don't really have a favorite one.
But if you had to choose a favorite one.
That's rude.
Not necessarily. What about from this standpoint? What about which one did you enjoy the most, or, you know, is there one that you maybe learned the most from, or maybe, you know, just think about it from that aspect, not saying this is my favorite person, or I think this person is the most successful. Yeah.
When I got to follow Ashley around, she's a fashion blogger. She was my first interview that I did, and she, like, I spent most of the day with her, and I didn't know a lot about, like, the fashion blogging world or anything about, I mean, like, I see the stuff on Instagram and everything, but when I followed her around, I got to see the process. Like, she's like, yeah, you know, I carry my clothes around with me, and, like, we scout out locations, and, you know, we spend like 3 to 4 hours every other weekend, and that's how I get all my content. So I learned a lot about an industry I thought I knew a lot about. And we got a really good brunch after, so
of course.
That was good.
Okay, the food. All right. Who are your top 5 inspirations?
Okay, this is so, well, so my mom. I know everybody says that, but literally, I mean, but it's like I had good examples in my life. So it's like my mom, my dad, my stepmom.
Okay.
Then outside of family, I know this is like, people are probably gonna be like, what? But I literally love P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean John. Love him.
Brother love.
Brother love. Like, he's just, I've seen growth, you know? I've seen him grow. And I saw him talk at the New York Times Talks, like a couple months ago, and I just had a newfound respect for him. Like, granted, he's crazy, but it's just like he really knows what he's talking about. Like, and he's unapologetic about it, and I really respect that about him. So, love some P. Diddy, and then you know, Beyonce. Like, that's so, I know it's super cliche, but this woman's work ethic is crazy.
Okay.
Like, it's not even just because she's beautiful and she's a singer, but her work ethic is insane. So if I can, you know, if I have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, like, something to look up to.
Okay. I'm gonna throw you a little loop on this one.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is aqua.
Bougie. Couldn't just be blue or green.
Aqua.
Not even teal, but
no.
All right.
Or like mint. It's like a mint aqua.
Mint aqua?
I don't think that's a thing, but I go back and forth.
But that's how you feel.
So it's like that color scheme.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on from the colors. Why did you start Saturday school?
Oh, okay. So I started Saturday school. I was bored, actually. I was super bored. Yeah, I was really bored, and I was like, you know, I need to be doing something else with my time. I was like, I moved to New York. Granted, I moved for a job, but like, I moved to really just like expose myself to things and really like branch out. And I love storytelling, and I love hearing other people's stories. So I said, you know what, I was like, I know a lot of people, and literally, and especially like everyone I've interviewed, they're either already friends with me or like a friend of a friend. Like, I haven't really gone outside my circle yet, and it's been almost 6 months since I started Saturday school. So so I started that just to really learn people's stories, because like, everyone moved to New York for a reason. You know, people move for jobs, but they also have a lot of passion outside of what they do. So that's kind of why I started it, to just get to know everyone's story.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you could say where you want Saturday school to be in a year from now, and then maybe, I don't know, 5 years from now, what would that look like for you?
Ooh, a year from now, I would like to have Saturday school. I'd like to do more video with Saturday school, incorporating that, maybe more thought out photo shoots as well. Because I feel like the words are solid. Like that's, I mean, granted, I can always be a better writer because that's why I do it as well. But I want it to be more of a multimedia platform, just like you have, like, oh, maybe there's a video aspect to someone's interview, or like, maybe there's more of a fashion aspect to their photo shoot or something like that. So kind of getting more into like, oh, I'm creating my own little magazine, but like a digital magazine. So I definitely would like it to be in that place in a year also. By then I'd want to have an event done. So, and I don't think I want to do a panel because panels are sometimes dumb. Like, I mean, because, you go to those panels and you're talking to everybody, like, you hear someone talk about the same stuff here all the time. It's like, have a social media presence, like, all this stuff you already know. But I feel like if it's an organic, like, dinner party or something, and you just kind of get to talk to these people who are your age and you're all doing really cool things, it's like more of a organic networking thing instead of like, here's my business card, like, follow me on LinkedIn, or like, like all this other stuff. So I think that by then I want to have some kind of event hosted. I don't know when, but that's my goal in 2018 to like do that. Now in 5 years, I mean, it'd be cool to be making some money off of Saturday school. Like have some merch. Actually, I could do merch in a year because I got pencils already. But 5 years, because this is like super long-winded, but my really end goal with Saturday school is to make it a foundation. So, the magazine or the digital magazine would be its own entity still, but like a branch of it would be the Saturday School Foundation. So you have I would target kids from middle school through high school, and it's like a program you go to every day about learning how to brand yourself, because kids don't think they can go to these Ivy League schools just because they don't have certain grades. And I'm like, that's not true. I wasn't a straight A student. I was like a straight B student. I did not score well on the SATs. Like, my ACT score was okay. But I got into 5 out of the 7 schools I applied to, and they weren't like shabby schools either. So I feel like if you know how to brand yourself in like other ways, like I might not be the best student, but like, I'm a great leader. Other schools will see that. So I want to teach kids that. Like, they don't have to just go to the state school if they don't want to. So that's eventually where I want to go with it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was super long.
Interesting. That's good though. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would your advice be for someone who, wants to start their own passion project, or basically do sort of what you've done with Saturday School, just start their own thing?
I would say get out there. First I would say do a brainstorm with a friend you trust, because people steal ideas all the time. But yeah, do a brainstorm with a friend and just write down everything you can think of. Like, and even if it sounds stupid, just like write down everything, and then figure out where your passion lies within that. Like, what are the words that you keep coming back to, and then once you kind of figure out what you're going to do, figure out what platform it's going to be on, who you're trying to target, kind of like not make a business plan, but kind of just like lay it all out, and then make a schedule. Like, I started interviewing people in July, but I didn't launch Saturday School until September, because I knew, I was like, I bought a camera within that time. Like, I had to scout who I was going to interview, because I wanted a bank of interviews so I knew it would be successful. I was like, I don't want to just like do one interview and then it's like, oh, that was cute, it's over. So yeah, I feel like making a plan, like brainstorming and making a plan, is really important.
Okay. So this is going to be a 2-part question.
Okay.
So first part is, do you think high school Morgan would have imagined you being where you are today?
Uh-huh.
And then second piece of that is, do you think high school Morgan would be proud of where you are today?
I think high school Morgan, like in this instance, like, did I know I was going to start Saturday School? No. But I definitely knew I was going to be living in New York. I knew I was going to... I knew I was going to be successful, and I knew I was going to be happy with whatever I did, because I've kind of known what I wanted to do since I was super little, so I don't really switch up. So I assumed, I was like, I'm going to be doing something that I like in some aspects of my life. So yes, I'm not surprised that I am where I am. Would I be proud? Yes, I think I'd be proud of myself, because yeah, I'm happy.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of the work with Saturday School, what would you say has surprised you the most so far?
I knew it was gonna take up a lot of my time. I'm surprised how into the photography, how into like taking everyone's photos I am. Cause I took like a couple photo classes in school, in college, but I'm like really into it. Like I'll take photos and that have nothing to do with Saturday School. So I think that's probably one of the aspects that surprises me, that I kind of found another passion within the passion that I started. So that was pretty cool.
Okay. And then what would you say is maybe, 2 or 3 most important things that you've learned, and that maybe, what have you taken, say, from that first interview to where you are now? What have you learned during that process that's helped?
I would say doing your research is, especially on the person you're interviewing. Granted, that's something I already knew beforehand, but I didn't have a lot of experience interviewing people. So once I kind of started getting into it, I learned like, oh wow, it takes a lot of, like it helps the interview so much because it makes the conversation real. So if you really know what you're talking about, or you know about their passion, you've creeped on them on the internet, and then it helps on top of that, if you're already cool with them, it just makes for a really well-rounded interview. Adds a little laughter, adds a little storytelling. So I think that was one of the biggest things. Also, don't take things personally. That's still a work in progress because I'm sensitive. But not everybody is going to ride for you or rock with you as hard as you expect them to. And I'm learning that now, because just because I'm passionate about what you do or whatever doesn't mean that's going to be the same thing reciprocated. So, and I know it's not personal. People are out, and it might be, I don't know, but people are out here just trying to get it done. So I'm like, okay, like that's why you just got to stand for yourself, and that's okay. And what else did I learn? Your network is strong. Like, keep your network strong, because the fact that I've interviewed a lot of people, but the fact that I've interviewed as many people as I have, and I still haven't gone outside of my network, is huge. And I've only been living in New York for a year. So I think just really knowing people and like talking to people, that's huge. And then like eventually branching out of that, and don't be afraid to put yourself on. That's hype yourself up so that people won't be hyped about you.
A little self-promotion.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you say has been easier than maybe you expected? Because that was more so, what's been hard, but what would you say has been easier than you may have expected?
Finding people to interview. I really thought, I was like, I'm screwed. Like, I was like, I was at the 3-month mark, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna, because I wanted to do an interview every week, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get, people, but then I just kind of I kept talking to people, and they're like, oh, I do this, and I do that, and I have a friend who does this, and even some of the people I interviewed, they were like, oh yeah, Morgan, I have a friend that would be interested in this too. So, and I don't turn people down. I don't have room for that. So, I have a content calendar I need to keep going. So, that was a lot easier. I really thought I was gonna, because even like January coming up, I was like, well shoot, like I'm out of friends. I was like, I don't know. And then people kind of started popping up again, and I was like, okay, I can continue Saturday School. Great. So, yeah.